Good evening and welcome to our Healthbridge Telehealth webinar. And firstly, thank you for making the time to join us tonight. Let me start by introducing our hosts. I think you've already met us, seeing as we've been chatting to one another. My name's Yvonne. I'm an executive at Healthbridge. I look after product and marketing teams. I've also been part of the Healthbridge team for the past 15 years. And I've also had the privilege to work with Quellen and other Bridgians in launching our new telehealth solution.
Hi there, I'm Quellen Govender. I will be demoing the system. I actually look after the product that you'll be seeing today, so looking forward to engaging with you guys.
Cool, thanks Quellen. And maybe before Quellen gets started, just to share with you the journey that we took to launch our new telehealth solution. And really it was at the start of the COVID pandemic, and when it started to become a reality in South Africa, a team of Bridgians under the leadership of Quellen got together and they started to think about a solution that we could launch that would really enable our clients to continue to provide very valuable care to their patients without putting themselves, their patients and their staff at risk. The other key principle that the team kept very close to their hearts when they were designing the solution was that it needed to be very simple for both the medical practitioner as well as the patient to connect with one another, albeit that it was virtual. And hopefully when Quellen demos the telehealth solution too, you'll see just how simple and easy it is to use. So that's it from me, but before I hand over to Quellen, I just want to go through some housekeeping. So unfortunately, we can't see or hear you this evening, but we'd still love to get your questions. I'm sure many of you are familiar with Zoom, but at the bottom of the Zoom screen, there's a little Q&A, or if you prefer to use the chat option, you can pop a question through. I'll keep track of those and I'll interrupt Quellen during the demo, so please feel free to pop those through as a question pops into your mind. And yeah, like I mentioned, we'll answer those during the demo. And that's it from our side. Quellen, over to you.
Awesome, thank you. Thanks, Yvonne. Just share my screen. Let me know if you can see it.
I can see it.
Perfect. Okay. Thanks everybody for making the time. I'm going to take you through MPS and the journey of a patient having a video consult. So MPS, as you can see, is we have an online calendar, and this is basically where you manage your patients and appointments. So for time's sake, we are on 6:30. Yes.
Maybe Quellen, just MPS is a lot more than just the calendar. Do you want to give us context as to the complete solution of what our myMPS is offering?
Sure, I can. Yes, so MPS, in terms of what we offer the entire practice solution in one. So we have features like this as the calendar. We have an inbox to kind of manage your day-to-day traffic of what needs to be done in terms of claims. We have a lot of your accounts. We have all your patients and members that you can track. We do have a settings in terms of admin of who has access to the system and how many providers that you'd like to add to the system. And we have a robust reporting platform to basically track your operational, financial, and clinical data. So in a nutshell, MPS, as you see today, gives you the practice solution to cover those administrative needs. It is geared for the practice admin as well as your single providers that are using a one type of system.
Cool.
Okay.
Quellen, Francois just asked if you can speak a little bit louder.
Sure. How's that?
Better.
Okay, thank you. So getting into booking an appointment, we are at 6:30, so we are going to use Sally Field as the patient. We're going to make Sally coming in at 6:40 p.m. she's going to see F physio. And here's Sally. She's on medical aid. She's with Bonitas. And we are wanting to do a teleconsult. So we will select the video consult. And
Helen, if I can just, sorry, interrupt you there. So you've got an option to do tele and or video.
Yes, so you can use both telephonic consults to manage your practice, if it's a quick check-in, or if it's a video conference call that you would like to have with your patient. So these are some of the option appointment types, as Yvonne has mentioned. But for this, I think for this demo, we're specifically looking at the telehealth video conferencing platform. So it's video consult. The system does warn you about when a telehealth video link will be generated, which is key for the next screen in terms of what your patients will see. So I'll just quickly save that. And as you can see, Sally is booked in for 6:40. This is the link for the video consult. We will check Sally in. And on the right-hand side is your waiting room. So the calendar can be used for all your appointments. On the right-hand side is a virtual waiting room of what and who that you need to see for your patients on that day. So Sally is busy in the waiting room. I will just give me 1 second. Okay. We will now get into the telehealth consult. So this is the waiting room. Sally has not joined as yet, but we will go on and jump on. I see she has. In this instance, it's shift 10. It is a demo site. The system does prompt you in terms of accepting to be seen for the teleconsult. So we will accept. And there's Sally on the other side.
Nice looking Sally.
Yeah, it's short for Salesh, but we've just named it Sally for today. And in terms of the telehealth, in terms of navigation, Sally has left me a message. Hi, Sally. I can have a conversation with Sally in a private messaging room that's safe and secure. If Sally has a difficulty listening to me or hearing me or can't see the video, she can leave me a message or she's running late. I'd like to just share Sally my screen, view it consult. Sally can see my screen, and in the screen we're going to be running through some of Sally's consultations, an overview of exactly what Sally for the session. So that, in essence, is the sharing of screen function. For Sally's reference, she's just wanting to check up on her sore back. I saw her early today. I did ask her to stretch and put some ice on a sore back like this, and I was just checking in with her in terms of a later consult. So that is the screen sharing function that we have. So I'm just going to get back to my screen. Stop sharing. Cheers, Sally.
And Quellen, are you going to take us through just how simple it was for you to be able to connect through and the patient to and not have to register for a specific application, but just from that link in the waiting room that you could connect to the virtual telehealth consult room?
Yes, I will show that as you speak. Let me just close for Sally. So going back to 2 steps. We book Sally in. There is a link. Sally is checked into the waiting room. Sally has received an email reminding her of her appointment, the date, the time, the link for her to join. We do give an overview of, in terms of Sally prepping for the appointment, put a reminder, make sure it's quiet. You can see Sally was in a very dark place, so she didn't get, wasn't listening. And there's also a patient guide for her to go through should she be having any technical issues, a video, a microphone. So we just give Sally that overview. There is also the SMS that got generated to Sally, and it's just a reminder of the appointment with a quick link for her to join into the chat. As you can see, Sally joined via a cell phone, so signal was quite poor on her cell phone. And that's the patient overview of what they received when I generated this booking appointment.
Maybe, Quellen, we've got a few questions that I'd like to answer now, maybe before you continue, which is related to
Sure.
this. Let me start at the bottom, the last question we got, which is, does Sally get an SMS or email with a link? Can she get both?
Yes, she can. So in terms of the setting, I will just show you very quickly. So on this setup, Sally can receive both an email and an SMS. You can set the time frames of when Sally should be getting that. Sorry, can you see my internet? You still there?
Yeah.
Oh?
You good? Yeah.
Sorry, my internet connection dropped. So yes, Sally does get that. And additionally to the telehealth, we do send that SMS and email reminder 15 minutes before the appointment, because it's a very time-sensitive appointment. At the practice setting, you do set up reminders by email and SMS. If you just want SMS, you can have SMS, can have both.
Cool. And then also related, what does the patient need on the other side to connect?
Patient does need a phone with a camera. So it has to be a smartphone access basically to internet, hopefully in a stable environment. So particularly a smartphone that can access the SMS link that you can actually see the patient. Alternatively, if it doesn't have a video, normal phone would suffice, but it'll purely be on a telephone basis where I wouldn't be able to see in video.
But the patient doesn't have to download any other application. They simply from that
click on the link,
click through to the virtual consult that you showed where Sally was.
Yep. So they get this link. They click on this link. It opens up in their web browser. They type their name, so we know who they are. And in essence, that's as simple as it is. There's no downloading of software, uploading. You literally click on the link either in the email or SMS.
Cool. And then let me just try to get these answered. Is the platform completely safe and HIPAA standards? If you want, I can answer this.
Sure, you can go ahead.
So we've, like everything we do at Healthbridge, we've sought legal advice. So certainly HIPAA in our country at the moment is still not a requirement. However, things like, security and are we conforming to the POPI legislation, that the application certainly does. It is very, very secure. The partner that we have worked with is a global international player, which in other countries, this is what they specialize in, and particularly in healthcare and in hosting these completely secure meeting rooms where it's just you and the medical practitioner, and it's 100% secure. You can't, no one can get into those virtual waiting rooms. So from a security perspective and from a POPI adherence, certainly the application is sound. HIPAA is in South Africa not yet relevant. I think we've answered the questions. What does the patient need? Yep, somebody asked a question regarding recording. Can the session be recorded as a proof that it was done? So not at the moment, but it is something that's on the team's roadmap to look at, to create that recording. But at the moment, the SOAP notes, the clinical notes, would still need to be made as you currently do.
Yeah, spot on.
Cool. I think we've covered the questions that have come through for now.
Okay, so let's continue on the demo. We have seen Sally. Sally has left us. We'll check Sally out. And of course, I need to bill Sally, so the system does prompt you to ensure that you continue billing for Sally. Here, we would, based on the new scheme rules and regulations, Discovery and both MedScheme have offered, and across the HPCSA, telemedicine as a place of service is relevant, especially in the allied medical professional world. So please ensure that place of service for telemedicine is selected. The system does default it to telemedicine. So here, you will type in your telephonic consult. You can see this is what goes to the medical aid, and it will tell me for a diagnosis code. So just type in one for highly unlikely in the physio world, but he came in because of that. I downloaded him, submitted, hit a level. Of course, JO11 won't be accepted because it's not applicable in the physio world. I will save this for later. Sorry, let me just remove this. Just remove my code, and I will save it. So it's our test system. It's a bit buggy at the point. We just close it. Apologies for that. I've invoiced, sorry, Ron. The test system is, my network is a bit flippy. I've checked this patient out. And that is the kind of the end of the journey from.
Yeah, so what you did was invoice for the consults that had just taken place.
Correct.
And I mean, one of the things that certainly that we've found in talking to our clients is that, especially now, that patients aren't coming in, and when you're treating them via telehealth, it heightens the risk of patients forgetting that they were actually seen by you, and you run the risk of, if there is a patient liable amount that they don't pay. And certainly with the ability to invoice immediately after the consultation, at least you'll get that immediate response if there is any patient liable amount for the real-time medical aids, and you can then follow up on that patient liable amount sooner than later. Maybe if you want to share the functionality that we have then to communicate to patients if there is any outstanding balance.
Sure, I can do that. So in our system, we do have a bulk communication, and in this setup, you could look at communicating to patients that have an outstanding balance. So I'd like to select the guys that owe me money on my practice for between 60 and 90 days, that owe me, let's just say for interest sake, 50 Rand and more, and I'd like to generate the statement and send it out to them. So the system can send it out in bulk, and we will issue send statement, and it will send to all those accounts that are between 60 and 90 days that owe you more than 50 Rand. They will get this statement to pay. So for the interest, I won't send it, but that's what it does.
And I guess that the other use for the bulk communications whilst we're here is we've certainly found that, and again, particularly over the last couple of weeks since we've been under lockdown, that practices have used the bulk email and SMS functionality to let their patients know of how best they want them to come through or not come through to their practice, whether you prefer patients to contact you before. The system also enables you to send out that mass communication to all your patients. And we've certainly found that a lot of our clients are using that.
Yep. I think that's it for the demo for Telehealth.
There's a question here. Is there additional charges to do telehealth on Healthbridge? Do you want to maybe share how you sign up for telehealth? Because I know we do have some clients that have joined us this evening, and also some non-clients, which hopefully will join our Healthbridge family soon. Do you want to maybe share with us you sign up for it, and then either you or I can chat about the fee at the moment.
Perfect. I'll show you that. Okay. So activating the service, we have built basically myMPS a store. The store has additional problems that a practice, as they evolve, can add on to the current base offering, like as I discussed in terms of the calendar, the inbox, the reports. These are over and above certain things that practices that we've seen request, and we've added this into the myMPS store. To activate telehealth, I'll just show you quickly. Deactivate mine. You would click on this activate button. There is an information button. On the info screen, it gives you an overview of the telehealth. We are running the special offer over the course of April and May. In terms of the fee, I know somebody did ask the fee. Currently, it's at R1.85 excluding that per telehealth video consult that's been used. What do you receive in that? I showed you the appointment SMSs in terms of what your patient gets, the email reminders in terms of how to connect, and that's kind of all inclusive in that R1.85 fee. There is a link to the terms of service. It has all our data, our privacy, and our secure. So that's an option. There's a link to the FAQs. So there's a lot of guys that have asked us in terms of security. It's the first two questions. So how does it work? And what kind of are you encrypted? How to activate? So this gives you that option to review in terms of the FAQs of telehealth. If you're happy with that, we would then activate. We would have accepted those terms that we have reviewed, and we proceed, and your system is ready to be activated. On telehealth, you can book in. Let's not use Sally, let's use Annika. Annika Field. The video consult is applicable, and you can book Annika in. There's Anka's link, and we will check Anka in, and you're ready to go on telehealth. Simple as that. Anka would have received the email and SMS, and you would have joined using this link here. Key thing to note about this link, when Anka joins this link on the screen, so you know that the patient is waiting for you.
Cool.
Cool.
Thanks, Lynn. I think we intentionally made this webinar just half an hour. I know we've got 5 minutes to go. There is one more question, and if anyone has additional questions, maybe you want to pop them through to us. There was a question around, will the patient's data be used, or is it the practitioners? Absolutely, it remains the practitioners. We don't use the data for any purposes other than, as Quellen showed, where we have to submit a claim through to the medical aid. Obviously, we are responsible for doing that, but any other data is absolutely the practitioners. Like I mentioned at the beginning, we're more than happy to answer any questions. As Laureen had popped up, there is an email address should you want to send us some questions after the webinar, which is webinar@healthbridge.co.za. Please feel free to pop us any question that you may have. We've also recorded this evening's webinar should you want to go back and have a look. We also, as I mentioned, have some non-clients that have joined in on the webinar, and if you'd like our sales team to pop through or not pop through, do it again virtually, as with our telehealth consults, we'd love the opportunity to demo the full myMPS system. As Quellen mentioned up front, it is a fully comprehensive billing and cloud-based PMA system. So if you'd like that, we certainly found that in the webinars we've had over the past weeks, we've had a number of doctors be interested. So after the session, we will be sending you a quick survey if you'd like one of our sales guys to come through and chat to you. Please let us know, and also just let us know what you thought about the webinar this evening. Laureen will be sending that out straight after the webinar, and also you'll have an opportunity, I think an email goes out tomorrow morning. I see we do have one more question. If you do not have clinical notes under add-ons, what do I do if I need to start capturing patient data? Do you want to answer that, Quellen?
Yes, sure. So I lost you on the last part. What?
So there's a question, if you do not have clinical notes under add-ons, what do I do if I need to start capturing patients' data?
So patients' data, if you don't have clinical notes, either you're using some sort of notepad or physical document in your practice. The clinical notes option that we have here is to allow you to keep all your notes in a cloud base and have access anywhere and anytime. So you continue capturing as you are today. If you're not using some sort of digital note taking tool, what we have in EPS allowed you to have clinical notes set up for yourself. You can activate it in the store, and this piece is actually going live at the end of this month. So this is obviously our test system. What we're showing you here is basically what's coming out at the end of the month. So if it's an existing client that has asked me that question, this feature will be available for you at the end of this month for you to capture clinical notes. So you can transition from paper into digital.
Cool. Thanks, and I think that's it from us. We at the top of the hour. Again, from Quillen and I, thank you for making the time to join us. And I know I'm going to repeat this, but please, if you've got any questions, we'd love to hear from you. We're always here to answer, and if you want another demo of the system, we'd be more than happy to do that as well. So from me, good night, and thanks again.
Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Cheers. Have a good evening. Bye.